hope you would have a nice academic feast for the day. Our first session is based on the theme Cost-Effective Use of Technology in E-Healthcare, the AIMS IT Solution. I invite Dr. Deepak Agarwal, Additional Professor Neurosurgery and Chairman Computerization for the talk on Online Appointment System AIMS Success Story. Dr. Deepak Agarwal, Additional Professor Neurosurgery and Gamma Knife AIMS, Chairman Computerization AIMS, and his special skills are Fellowship in Pediatric and Endoscopic Neurosurgery, Training in Gamma Knife, Training in Stereotactic and Image-Guided Neurosurgery, Microneurosurgery, Spinal Instrumentation, and he has received more than 20 awards including Neurosurgeon of the Year 2008 award by the Congress of Neurological Surgeons USA and has got more than 50 publications in various peer-reviewed journals. Sir, please.
Thank you, Tinu, and I welcome all of you. Good morning and a warm welcome from AIMS for this Indosium pre-conference technology conclave. In this conclave, we want to highlight what we have implemented here at All India Institute of Medical Sciences, which can be case studies for implementation in other hospitals. And we also want to learn from all of you your own experiences so that we can improve further our own systems and share whatever we have learned through our own experience. So the first thing I want to talk about today is appointment system. And when we talk about appointment system, I think AIMS is the only government hospital which has a fully functioning appointment system so far. And this hasn't happened overnight. It has taken a lot of effort. And if I take, I just want to share with you a story about it. If you look at the background, we get around 9,000 to 10,000 patients a day, and you add two relatives to each patient, so it becomes around 30,000 crowd coming in every day, minimum, into AIMS. And the problem occurs because everyone starts queuing at 3 a.m. in the night or earlier, used to queue up earlier, for getting the OPD cards made. And as every department, although not having a definite limit to the number of patients they're seeing, they had a time limit, registration time limit, which was usually 11 o'clock or 11:30 a.m., beyond which cards would not be made. So the illiterate, uneducated patients had the biggest problem because they used to keep queuing up and they never got the cards made. The second point was that because it's such a large system in place, and in any system, people push the envelope to see where they can get a shortcut out. Similarly here, a lot of touts had mushroomed out who used to sell OPD cards, who used to do a lot of unscrupulous activity, especially on people who used to come from outside without knowing what they want. So we wanted to stop all this, and we were thinking how to get this done, although catching a few does not really affect the system at all. The third point is patients used to queue up multiple times. So there was not one queue, but at least 3 or 4 queues before they would be seen by the doctor. And at every point where they interacted, a human interaction, it gives rise to friction, it gives rise to a potential for bribe, corruption. And we were very sure that these are the bottlenecks we wanted weeded out of the system. I'll just shift gears here and tell you about, most of you must be knowing about this Alice in Wonderland, a fantasy tale which was written by Lewis Carroll more than 150 years back. Okay? And this book has been made into 2 major films. The last time a film was made on Alice in Wonderland, it grossed more than $1 billion worldwide. Okay, this was in 2010. A sequel to this film is supposed to be released next year. And the beauty of this book is that a lot of philosophy has been there in a very, very brilliant way through a fantasy tale, through a kind of a children's book. And I will try and show you the similarities with our system. In the book, what happens is the story starts when Alice falls into a rabbit hole. That's what the story starts. And similarly, in our story, we started in 2013 when we did not have any system in place. The only thing we had was registrations for walk-in patients. And at that time, computerization, which was the buzzword, meant computerization of the registration process. Nothing more, nothing less. So everybody was very happy that something has happened at AIIMS and the registration process has been computerized. And when we came in, when Dr. Mishra became the director here, he put in a lot of push for computerization. And so one of the thoughts was, why don't we have appointment systems? So when I said that, a lot of people were very offended. They said, what, are you crazy? Why should we have an appointment system? We are already flooded with patients. Why do you want to get patients through appointment here? So there was a complete disconnect when we talk about appointment system. Although the benefits are there for all to see, for those patients who are all standing there from 3 a.m., obviously they will not have to stand in multiple lines. They can take a date which is convenient to a doctor and location, room, whatever. So there's so many benefits. But because it's a market, seller and buyer market, and basically right now it's a seller's market, so there was no need felt for appointment system. So we started working on it, and we started revamping the registration module to fit in the appointment system. Now that's a gigantic task because the registration module was not made for any changes to cater to an appointment system. So then we got down, made a wish list. The most important thing that it should be common across all AIIMS, across all departments. AIIMS has around 7 centers, independent administrative centers, and they run as their own empires. They have their own system, their own different kind of policies going on. But although we wanted one system, we wanted those policies to be incorporated so that unless you have all stakeholders on board, you can never go online properly. We wanted the system to be highly configurable and allow auto doctor select. By saying auto doctor select, we wanted to emulate the Indian Railways reservation system. So if you look at the Indian Railways reservation system, it is that if you book a seat on the railways or a berth, you will be given any berth. You cannot choose that I want. You can give an option, but you cannot choose it. So whichever berth is empty, you will get it. Similarly, in our system, we wanted that you cannot choose a doctor. You will be given whichever date and doctor is earliest available to you, you will be given, or on a specific date you will be. And the last thing which we wanted was the existing PAs of all the doctors, which all professors have. We wanted to unlock the potential, leverage them. So instead of having a registration counter at AIIMS, which is manned by 10 or 15 people, if we take 100 PAs also in consideration, then suddenly we have 120 people giving registrations. So it really unlocks a potential number of people you can leverage for giving appointments, doing this stuff. So when we said this to NIC, we wanted all this done, they were quite skeptical. And they said it's a big thing you're asking. We have never done it before. We don't know. So we persevered and we said, no, this is what we want and we need to get it done. How we're going to do it, we'll decide in due course. But we took a commitment that this is the top priority right now for AIIMS to have an appointment system in place. So we worked with NIC. The problem was that even we didn't know what we actually wanted. Yes, the wish list was there, but how to go about that wish list, we didn't know. So we would give them a rough idea and they would come back with something. It was like Chinese whispers going back and forth with a product which was suboptimal, which never catered to us. We again talked to them, again they changed it. So after multiple iterations, because we also didn't know what they wanted and they also didn't know, we finally, over time, we found out what exactly the requirements are. We had to discover it. And over 1 year or so, then we finally made a product which we felt was implementable. However, in spite of implementing it, a lot of people were not happy. So what we decided was, and people wanted to come back to the original system, we said that's not possible. Because the software has undergone so many changes, you cannot go back to a version which is now obsolete. So we said we'll continue making changes to further improve it, but we cannot go back. And this is one of the key policy decisions in any organization, because it's so easy to roll back and say, okay, if some problem has occurred, why don't we go back to the original model? No, you cannot. In spite of the problem, you have to continue, and that problem gives an incentive as well as a pressure that you quickly resolve it so that you can move on. So in middle of 2014, so that's almost 1.5 years since we started, one year, we started giving follow-up appointments for follow-up patients. So that was a major achievement. So those patients which already had been seen once in AIMS, those could achieve or take appointments. In February 2015, we developed an all-round app with a third-party developer, and we started an online appointment for new patients. So new patients, this was a major change. However, UHID, that's the registration number at AIMS, would still be taken from when the patient physically comes to the counter. The paradigm shift happened a couple of months later when, using the good offices of Aadhaar and their Director General, we could get Aadhaar integration done. So that was a very major achievement. So authentication of whoever is on the net trying to book an appointment, his ID is authenticated. So there is no question of middlemen, touts, anything coming on the system online. So using this system, the UHID could be generated online, and slowly over this time period, the puzzle pieces started falling in place, and suddenly, one day the whole system was as we had expected it to be or envisioned it to be around 2 years back. So right now we have various ways of booking appointments. We have it obviously on the counter. If you think about the Indian Railway reservation system, it's almost the same. At the counter in the hospital, online you can do it. You can do it through IVRS, or we have a interactive voice response system, because the major population of this hospital remains illiterate patients. So we tendered and had a call center also put in. So the call center acts as a human interface or a middleware for any patient who is illiterate to talk and get an appointment online. And obviously we had a mobile app for those who are tech savvy and those who are using the internet. So if you see all these, you will realize that similar to railways, the client or the clientele of AIMS is very, very heterogeneous. Right from the poorest of the poor to the most powerful in the country, they all use the same services. So how to cater to different segments was a big challenge for us. So we had to optimize, give what were the expectations from the different sections of the society on different platforms, but through a common system. This, I think, was the biggest success we could achieve over time. And currently we have more than 170 OPDs and clinics configured on the system. We have online, we have booked more than 5 lakh appointments over the last 6 months or so. It's highly configurable. We have come to a stage where we have a payment gateway. So because it's a government system, the payment is 10 rupees, but still the procedure has to be followed. So we had to have a payment gateway put in. The 10 rupees option is there for those who can pay online. For those who cannot, they can come here and obviously pay that. And the benefit of paying online is that you get an e-OPD card, means a card, printed paper from your home, which you can directly come as a fast track to the doctor's office. So the next steps, and some of these we have already implemented and we are implementing right now as I'm saying this, is integration in the queue management system. So that's a very important integration we did, because like in an airline system, you have to check in. So, and no appointment system can work without checking in. So for example, 100 patients have booked appointments through whatever platform, but only 50 turn up on the doctor, because there is hardly any disincentive. They're just paying 10 rupees or no money for booking appointments. So we have to check in to find out which people did not come in. and only those who came in should be visible on the queue system. So this was a challenge. So we have integrated both the systems so that only those patients who check in the registration counter in the morning will show up in the queue system according to the queues which was previously given on the appointment. The second important thing we are working on is to give customized instructions. Now this is also something very new which we are testing out, is that if suppose you are a nephrology, you book an appointment in nephrology department. So automatically the system on the confirmation sheet, appointment confirmation, you should be getting instructions which are specific to nephrology. Frequently asked questions on nephrology: where is the department located, what are the people, what are the doctors' appointment timings, all the doctors, what are the special interests, and some general information about renal disease and a link to website on the department website which gives more information. So now you're actually drilling down to the department, and if you, for any department, and the common diseases and what are the things which can be done, what are the approximate wait times for surgery, all this can be given in a real-time manner to the patient. And what we are trying to do is empower the common man, because this information empowerment is the only way to decrease corruption, improve transparency and accountability of the system. So all this is at the moment going on. Some of this has already been done. SMS email integration has already been done. So the email integration means that the doctors get appointment list one day before of all the patients which had booked appointments on the system, and the SMS means the patients get the SMS saying that this is the, if you want to cancel the appointment, this is what is to be done, and reconfirm the appointment, so that they keep we keep pushing that please cancel if you want to, please reconfirm if you want to. So it has been a very good journey. It has been an adventure for all of us, because we were not expecting any of this to actually come to this stage where we can be proud of the system, and we really are. And of the Digital India initiative, which the government of India under Prime Minister Modi did, they selected this project as one of the projects which should be rolled out nationally among the 5-6 projects they selected. And that was a feather in our cap, and we could push NIC, because any government organization requires a lot of push to get anything done. So we could manage to push NIC because of the directive from the PM office and everything, to make a system from whatever we had made, to make it agnostic to the hospital. So any hospital could plug in and get their system on board, this appointment system. And they have worked hard on it, and they have done it. And some hospitals already come online, some are coming online. So I think the future is very bright, because people have seen the potential, and I think everybody has seen what wonders technology can do if used in the right manner. And coming back to our own hospital, the crowd doesn't disappear. Let me tell you, 10,000 people, 30K will never disappear. But the empowerment which it gives to the people, instead of standing in line 3 a.m., they know that if they come at 6 a.m. also, they will be seen. If they're not seen, they will get the next appointment. So it's an empowerment which has really improved the, outlook of the patients related to everybody. And somebody was telling me that they were going in an auto rickshaw outside, and they were saying we don't know how to get the appointment at AIIMS. So the auto rickshaw driver told them that there are 3-4 ways you can get it. You don't have to bother. So this is the empowerment people are getting. The information is disseminated in a lot of ways, and I think that is something which we have managed to succeed. Thank you so much. So I'm ready to take any questions. We have deliberately kept this whole technology conclave without chairpersons and inaugurations and all that, because we wanted to be a pure, learning and teaching thing, not a kind of a, showcase. Thank you.
Yes. Considering this is being an emergency summit, I would like to know how this has impacted the emergency department.
Yes, it's a very good question. Now, if you look in the emergency department, we are getting close to 600 patients a day. Now, there are only 3 options for a patient at AIIMS. Once you get admitted, One, you you lose the battle inside the emergency, and third, you are crossed or sent away to another hospital. There is no fourth option. So what happens is if you get admitted, it's fine, you are inpatient. If you get crossed, or if you're sent for whatever in discharge or whatever, the patient says, okay, I will go somewhere else, but if I want to come back to AIMS, what do I do? That's 70 to 80% of the crowd coming to AIMS every day. So we tell them, you take an appointment. You go to a hospital, you get them seen, whatever emergency treatment you want, and we are very happy to follow you up in the AIMS OPD. So this helps the patient knowing that we are not pushing them away. It is the initial part we cannot manage, obviously, because no hospital can manage such a crowd. But we are happy to show them, give them a second opinion or see them in the OPD whenever at their convenience. So this helps tremendously to all the patients in the emergency. And in fact, and if you look at, we have two emergencies here. One is in the main AIMS, which caters to pediatrics, adult, as well as common surgical and common emergency. And we have a trauma emergency, a trauma center. The trauma center is unique because the patients who come to trauma center will always remain in follow-up. We have a policy, all severe patients will have to be admitted or inside trauma center. So there we have a system that we keep continuously following them up, using the call center, giving appointments, doing everything for them.
Thank you, sir, for briefing about the online appointment system in AIMS. Next, I invite Ms. Anita Kumari, NIS AIMS, to talk on Quality Assurance Module for Teaching and Clinical Quality Control in Healthcare. Ms. Anita, she has done her BSc PC from College of Nursing AIMS and has presented various papers in conferences on technology in e-healthcare. Now is presently working as a nurse informatics in AIMS and have a clinical experience of about 8 years.
Thank you, Tinu. So, I'm Anita, working as an IS at Tinu Share. So, today I'm here to share an idea on quality assurance module. Before getting into the software, the detail of the software, this will be very interesting to know the background and the visionary aspects of the software, the developing and the idea how it came into the scene. So since starting, Dr. Agarwal was working in the developing and the guidance of the software. So I need to request Dr. Agarwal, so make it more clear to us that what was the need and what was the visionary aspect to get this developed in the scene. Then it will be more comfortable for us to understand how this came in the scene. Please, sir.
So I just want to add here before she starts the presentation is, in any academic institution, quality control is very essential. And we were facing a lot of problems in both emergency department and the department I work in, which is neurosurgery, in that the residents have increased tremendously. We in neurosurgery have more than 40 residents. I have lost count, 47 odd residents in one department. And from my own residency time, when we had hardly 10 residents. So maintaining quality and consistency of the residency is an issue in itself. Because if you want mortality, case presentations, journal clubs, and other academic activities to be graded by each resident, and as well as the surgical skills. And by surgical skills, I do not mean only operative skills, but the procedures they do in day-to-day life, which could be emergency procedures, right from chest tube insertion, intubation, anything. So how do you grade them so that at the end of whatever period, 3 years, we have a kind of a log on whatever they performed, what they did, and we can then, when they sit in the exit exam, we can evaluate the 3-year performance instead of just having the exit exam. This was the basic vision of having this system in place, and I again invite Anita to tell you about it.
Thank you, sir, for making us more enlightened on this software. So now we will see how this software help us to have a good evaluation tools to get resident evaluated after the residency training program. This is the login page for the software. Here we have to log in with one username and password, and this username and password is being provided by the informatics team only, and this is individual for everyone. So for the comfort, we are providing their email address only as the username, so anytime they can enter, and it is easy to remember for them, and the password they can change as per their choice. So before getting into the detail of the software, I would like to point out the major functionality we are having in the software. Here we can have the total academic schedule created in the software, then the grading part we can do in the software, then the logbook for the resident and the OT report for the faculty can be achieved from the software, and the attendance report also can be seen. Then round assessment is a special log for the incident report, and the follow-up can be done for the SEM, and the database for the all patients we are entertaining in the department. Anytime the all information can be achieved from the software, and the most important part is this is a intranet based software. So there is no limitation for the having the internet in the device. So whenever we will be having the internet, then only we will get the information. As previously we were getting the academic schedule on mail in a Word document. So to get a detail on the academic schedule, we need to have an internet service. But this is an internet based service or software, so anytime on our mobile, on desktop, on any location in a hospital, we can see the software, and any detail if we want of our interest we can get from this software. And again I would like to emphasize the topic things that this has a password, so confidentiality can be maintained. So here the starting of the software. In the academics we need to have a academic schedule. So here we can create the schedule. As you can see, this department and event type and month and year, the information is available in the front of the page. Then the speaker can be set and the moderators can be changed, and updation as per the changes can be done by the controlling authority. And the event date, whatever is reflecting over here, it can be configured as per the choice of the department. So after creating the schedule, it will be reflecting like in a my schedule. It will be reflecting in my schedule, and for a individually whatever plan is for them, and in departmental what schedule can be seen, and accordingly everyone can plan what they are able to attend and what they can escape. After getting the completion on the created schedule, from the resident end they can change if some change happens from their side, and they have a talk with their moderators and with the other speaker, so it can be changed from the resident side, and the final updation can be seen in the departmental schedule. So here after getting the schedule done, presentations will be done by the speakers, and after presentations it will be graded by the faculty, by the moderators. On the top you can see there is a option for the academic grading, and in the bottom there is a option for the OT grading. Academic grading for their presentations, and OT grading for their assistance in the operation theatre. So here you can see there is a speaker named Dr. Shashi, and event type is also mentioned, and the topic is there, and event date is there. The faculty need to provide the score over here and remark if they are having it was very good, it was satisfactory, it was a nice presentation, whatever they feel like to motivate them or to guide them, they can add over here in the remark column, and they can grade. Here you can see there is a hyperlink like view. If you are interested as a faculty to know what scorecard is achieved by this speaker, so if you are clicking on view, the whole scorecard for the previous performance will be reflecting over here to you. So in OT grading, as you can see, there is a assistant surgeon. These are the residents who are updating their name in their logbook, and again this is being reflected to their faculty that this is the resident who assisted me today for 8 hours, 9 hours, 5 hours, whatever, throughout the surgery he helped me. Then the surgery was like that, and diagnosis you can see. So we can see this is the surgery and diagnosis was patient was like that and surgeon was so, and now consultant can provide the score to the resident and they can provide the remark as per their performance and they can grade. After grading, scorecard can be seen by the resident and the faculty also. Here we can see for the academics, so and so event type was there and on this topic there was a talk on this date and by so and so moderator this type of marks was given, and here we can see the mean of the marks, final scoring and the graded. It is a color coded grading, so at a glance we can come to know that what type of performance has been done by the resident. In the OT grading, again any resident and any faculty for all resident can see what type of OT grading performance has been done and what type of scorecard they have achieved. So here the page for the faculty. Faculty can see for one to all resident, whatever they feel like they want to see how their residents are performing, they can have a look on their academics and for their OT scorecard. So now question comes ki how the resident are making themselves more efficient ki okay, they will get the OT grading done, but they have to express something in software ki how they observed, what they observed and what type of things they want to get things done. So here this is a page, they have to update the operating finding, they can update their observation over here and they will update over here, then this will reflect to the faculty over here in the operating finding, and after reading this operating finding in remark column, faculty can guide them as per their experience what they have with their resident. And this is the logbook, this is the need of the resident in exam. As we know, for logbook we have to submit in exam, so resident can have their logbook and to submit in exam. Here we can see one thing more I would like to emphasize in the previous slide. Here we can see here there is a hyperlink on this registration number. If we are interested to know the detail of this patient, if we are clicking on this registration number, the whole detail will come to us ki okay, what was the patient, what surgery, what diagnosis was there for this patient, and accordingly consultant can change and it will be updated in their OT report. So the perfect data they will be having with them as a OT report. So we were with about the logbook. In the logbook, resident can have their logbook for a year, for a month and for the day. For the faculty, OT report is also available. So as I told you that UHID number is a hyperlink. Whenever we are clicking on UHID number, we can change the detail of the diagnosis and the surgery and the any other detail we feel like to add it, we can do. Here the third and most important function we are having in this software. This is a biometric integrated functionality we are having in this. Here we can see the attendance report for the ward resident. This is the page for the faculty. Here they can select the any name they want to know, and they can see how much attendance they are having, how much present they are having, how many absent are there. And then here this is interesting to know whenever they are on time they will getting the remark like on time, and if they are late, mean if they are coming in time by 8:15, then they will be getting the remark like late, and if they are coming by 8:30 and punching by 8:30, they will getting the remark like extremely late. So this also will give us the information about the resident that who are not punctual, and punctuality is very important in student life as we know. So we can do accordingly on this topic. And for resident also, they can have their attendance seen in their login. For resident, all the information will be available about them only, But for faculty, everything can be seen by them for all residents. This is very special log. As an incident log, here we can see the faculty used to take rounds in the ward for the patients, and senior nurses also used to take rounds in their ward with their junior staff, and they used to have observation on the ward and patients. Sometimes they feel like that it should be in a more perfect manner, so they can have log in this. So here they will update the name of their junior, their resident, their junior nurse, whatever they feel like. Then they can, after updating the name, the registration number of the patient, against a patient, this incident log will be updated. Patient registration number will be entered over here, and the all information about the name, bed number, age and gender will be coming to us, and the type of incidents we can enter. There is some ready-made information is available, like administrative labs, patient care labs, documentation labs, anything we feel like we can enter over here, and we can write also. Then sub incidents, that was a documentation lab or some whatever you feel, some options we can enter over here. Then action taken verbally, it was make them mandate, or in memo, in a writing way, they were intimated to make them mandate. And the remark, in addition, we want to write, and we can save it. And there will be a log available to you, and after 2 days, 3 days, if you want to follow the log, what happened in this case and whether it was improved, so again we can have the same information in updated way in the log. So as NIS, I am interested to share the responsibilities of NIS in this software. We used to be involved in the introduction of the software, then continuous training and support to the involved users, then the upgradation and the maintenance of the software whenever needed. Then they ensure the compliance from the different modalities available in the software and the limitations they are facing. They are not being used. They are not able to use these things. So we are trying to overcome the limitations whenever it is needed. So as I shared in starting only, this is a password protected application. So password can be changed anytime as per your convenience. So thank you. I would like to invite the queries if you are having any.
Thank you, Anita. I just want to add that she's given a very exhaustive view, but it is to cater to the problems we are facing every day. And the 2-3 problems we are facing is because of the time constraints which we are able to devote on rounds or to clinical activities, we take shortcuts in terms of assessing residents, number one. Number two, because of the large number of residents, we are having problem assessing them. So, for example, I tell you, for the academic activities, although we have 47 residents, hardly 15-20 used to come for any academic activity. Be it case journal club, be it case present, because everybody has some excuse. So after we put in a biometric system in place and integrated it, they know that at the end of 3 years, we don't have to we never see the system also. At the end of 3 years, you get a log kind of thing, how many case presentations that person was attended, how many he did not. So it comes in from the examiner, and this sets in the fear. So they make sure that the residents come in, and if they don't come in, they will give a written excuse or written something in writing. That's number one. Number two, there are a lot of patient care activities which are affected by, we are all doctors, we are all human, we make a lot of mistakes. But I think documentation is the key, and some residents are good, some are bad. So if the evaluation of a resident is done by all faculty, then chances of the resident saying that I've been victimized becomes very less. So that is why over 3 years it becomes consistent by all faculty that if he's getting a consistently low grade or a good grade, you know that this is a good resident or bad resident. Very simple. And the administrative module is, we are still struggling with the medical legal implications, but in case the notes have not been put, the admission notes have not been put, a lot of file lapses are there. So we can put in a comment that the documentation of this resident is not good. And there's a nurse which comes with us in every round, in the morning round, with an iPad, and they log into the system, and we say, okay, sister, please enter that this resident has not put in the admission note. So instead of shooting your BP up by shouting at the resident and making a fuss over it, you just tell, please put it, enter it, that he's not done it. So that sends a very strong message because it's been documented for the first time. Previously, what we used to do, we just to shout and tell them, okay, please don't do it next time. Why have you done it again and again? We are telling you. And it was never documented. End of 3 years, the resident will show that I am the best resident in the world. So this way, we are documenting, so we're getting records out. And the clinical deficiencies, if they did not write a medication like for a neurosurgery, if they did not write antipyptic and a patient got a seizure, it's a very major thing. They forgot to write it. So the problem arises because medical legal, if something happens to the patient and they want the record from our system to show that this was a lapse from our side, we are still grappling. So we are trying to de-identify the data so it's not visible which patient or what happened. It's only written that this doctor did not write a medicine or something. So this issue we are still grappling. Otherwise, it is 100% functional in at least in neurosurgery department. We just started 6 months back, and some 4 other departments have shown interest. They already started with them. Emergency remains a key area for introduction of this module, because that way, because residencies in emergency medicine have just started. But for all junior residents who are doing any procedure, anything, this sends a very strong message that Big Brother is watching you, if nothing else. Any questions on this? Yes? It's a subjective. It's a purely subjective, because every consultant, every surgery is graded by the respective consultant. What happens is the consultant gets an SMS and an email every day saying these are the grades which you have to put in. And there's a link on the SMS or the email, so if you click that, you directly go onto the page and you just grade. So it's a subjective grading. That's what I'm saying. It's because over 3 years, if we are there are 20 consultants, 22 consultants in neurosurgery. So over 3 years, we assume that the resident is going to be graded by most of them. Yes, but there is obviously, that's why we made it visible. But I think every one of us wants the best for it. It's not that somebody is out to make sure residents. We want the best for our residents. So we would always think twice before giving a bad grade. That is something we have not. See, for those skills to be graded, you have to stand there. You cannot grade a skill without being there. So if a resident is breaking bad news and you're not there, you cannot grade that skill. If a relative complains to you that I was not told, it doesn't mean that you can grade a resident badly. So that is something which will require a lot of effort from the faculty also. So in all these things, to make sure it happens. So we have still not started on that. See, you brought up a very important topic. The problem is these skills are never taught also. So what something is not taught can never be graded. So we haven't still started teaching them as a structured module anywhere, either in undergraduation or in post-graduation. These things are taught maybe as part of a workshop or some other kind of a thing, but never as a structured course in your PG or MBBS. So these first need to be included there, and then evaluation mechanism needs to be put in. Yes, ma'am.
I think I can add one opinion that actually the grading system cannot be implemented during the undergraduate or residency years. Grading is when you are in the professional field. Then is when your employers want the grading system. Because if you put the grading system into place for residents and undergraduates, it has failed in UK. They have not put a grading system there. They just want that you get an adequate competency level so that you can move to the professional field.
See, what I would say is, UK has a very good model for training. They have adequate ratio of everything. Patients are less. Everything is in a very balanced manner. Here, everything is oral. You have so many patients. Everything is limited. What happens is that the residency program suffers because the faculty may not be interested, everything is left to the residents, or the resident may be not interested in doing it. All kinds of factors are there. So I think every institution, every local area has to devise its own ways to have a consistency in the program. And we have tried a lot of things. We never had a grading system. We had neurosurgery always had a grading system, but a lot of departments do not have. This is something which can be tried out, and only time will tell whether it will affect. I personally believe it's a very good system for evaluating residents and assessing them. Yes, ma'am. That is a very good point, a 360-degree evaluation, but it's a delicate thing, and I think, again, as I said, to have a system buy-in, first you need to get the main stakeholders on board. So if you do something which the stakeholders only don't want it, then this system will never come on board. So the first step we have done, where all the faculty have said yes, we are doing it, and what I can say is, individuals are a reflection of the society. So, or the society is a reflection of the individuals. So here, if the individuals don't want it, or I think if the age has come where they want 360, then it will happen. If they don't want it, it will not happen. So we are waiting for the right time to implement it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anita. Next, I invite Dr. Sanjeev Boy, Additional MS, JPNATC AIMS for the talk on Electronic Tools for ED Administration. Dr. Sanjeev Boy is presently the Additional MS, JPNATC AIMS.
So thank you for a brief introduction. So should be brief in interest of time, So it is one of the tools, as I said, ED, the electronic tool for ED administration. Let me take you to the first is the so-called casualty, where we do face problems, many problems. You are working in a emergency department, you are the consultant, you are working on the floor. You have patients who are shouting, at you. Doctor, see me, there's somebody shouting in pain, somebody is unable to speak, somebody is almost gasping. So you have a arrest one side, you have a patient who is shouting, you have a patient with chest pain, you have a patient with pain abdomen, you have a patient who is bleeding, and somebody is shouting, see me, otherwise see you outside. And you are on the floor. You are the consultant, you are taking round in the middle of night, 3 a.m. And you find suddenly that there is apathy, of the patients, as well as the doctors or the healthcare providers. And in that time, when you have to make quick decisions, you also have to do what is called a documentation, which is critical. And what do you do? Obviously, you have to do what is called as saving life first, with the concept of treat first, that kills first. That is the basic genesis of working in the emergency department, is treat first, kills first. And simultaneously, you have issues which will make you, as a consultant or as a senior person who is looking at the providing clinical skills, doing auditing, and also taking it by administration in the middle of night, 3 a.m. And also you have to, when you're taking round, you have to see whether the documentation is proper, whether administration of medication is proper, whether your staff who is working at 3 a.m., you find certain people are missing. Certain people are missing in the round. And that causes serious risk to the patient whom we care. Because we have to see, when we go to the emergency department, you have to envisage that you are a patient. You can become a patient sometime and you'll be at 3 a.m., somebody will be taking a shift looking after you. Reverse the role and see. And then your administrative skills, clinical skills, decision-making skills matters a lot. And one of the major flaws in auditing or improving the system is poor documentation. Don't you agree with this, sister? The best person who documents till now over years in our country has been the nurses. And we as doctors are the poor documentation. We do quite poor, not up to the mark documentation. And let us see how we can actually, these are problems, some of the pictures you can see here is, this is a type of documentation we have. Usually, I'll take you, this is an example of an MLC record actually. You can see there are a lot of, many things you can't find out because of not so good handwriting. And that is how it came to me, and we know that even the best of scientists also didn't have a good handwriting. That is Albert Einstein. But it is critical for us to have a good documentation system, to audit and to do good ED administration. So one of the tools is computerization or electronic format of the documentation is the key. And that is how, when we started some 5-6 years back, when we started at the trauma center and the emergency department, first thing we looked at is how actually we can, digitize it or we can make it electronic. You will say the volume of patients are huge, one concept. The other way you are thinking, we to improve the quality of documentation, quality of care, quality of introspecting within can only occur if you have a good documentation system. Not everybody has got a beautiful handwriting, I must say. And that is how it came. The first one which Dr. Deepak and his team did, with consultation with us, because we had to provide the templates of care. The first thing is to improve automatically the care in the emergency department is doing a template system. Whether it is chest pain alert, dyspnea alert, altered mental status, trauma, So these are the basic templates which are golden rule for a patient. We talk about golden hour, time dependent, stroke alert, chest pain alert, trauma alert. These were the templates we need to form, and trauma was the first to start with trauma alert. With the first thing what we did is, Dr. Deepak what did is Vista. You use Vista. It is an open source document, resource which is available and it customized to our setting by Dr. Deepak and his team, and provided the templates. That is called a template on the format or platform of compressed patient record system. And this is what it is the initial templates from the trauma alert was based on ABCDE protocol, which was designed or customized based on the clinician information. That is my information to the team. And they customized it according to our needs. And over the years, what he did is he integrated other systems, like you can see, vital sign charting, temperature, integrated the PAC system, integrated the vital sign, and then also the labs. So we'll take one by one. So what does it does? What this electronic medical record does? So what it does is it improves automatically the documentation quality. Number one. Number two, reduces the error which occurs in the handwriting. Third, you cannot tamper the document. You cannot tamper the document of electronic medical record. But however, in handwritten, you can easily tamper. or you can tear up. जहाँ आपकी गलती लग रही है खुद ही फाड़ दो. Time नहीं लिखना, don't write time. All sort of crap we all who have been working as supervising person both in nursing and as well as medical side, we have faced a lot of problems, even the code of law. So it is a serious risk, when you appear in the code of law, nobody is standing for you. You have to stand on your own. So that's why documentation is the key, and also auditing is the key. And that is the best thing which can happen, and that is what it happened. So it reduced the transcription error, it reduced nurse clinical, provider clinical error. Means what is documented, you check out the chart, print out, give it to the nurse, nurse will administer the drug. And she'll put down her time. And again, okay, you have ordered for vital sign charting 2 hours early. She will put in the computers and do it. This is retrievable. You can retrieve it whenever you like, because it is all auto-recorded. It goes into the system, saved automatically in the system. So you want to retrieve 5 years down the line, you can do that. And it also used for medical legal aspects. And obviously, it is 4 times less expensive to install than the commercial electronic medical record system, which is available. Like you must have seen many systems, like T system, which is the best for electronic medical record in emergency healthcare, emergency medicine. If you see the cost factor, it is 4 times less, which is a big thing for countries like us, resource-constrained countries like us. It is a big issue. And third, you can do customization. However, you can see another thing is the main caveat to this advantages is the volume of patients. Do we really have that much of time in a high volume emergency department which caters to almost 800 patients a day? So is this model is going to be totally successful? So we'll talk about that, because there are 3 different models of template-based system. Paper-based, then second use, that is paper template-based checklist, like you go into flight, there is a checklist. Okay, these things are all right, now we fly. So similar in the emergency department with the chest pain, these things has to be done before the doctor has to see, or the super specialist has to see. Template-based. Do that, or scan them, archive them. There are 3 hybrid models. One is paper plus archiving. Third is only electronic medical record. So you can have, based on your setting, you can have different models of implementation. So those are the advantages of CPRS. So you have a secured login, and these are how it is. Templates are filled. So there are various things you can just go through, and if you're interested, you can have a look in the emergency department, or even in this emergency department we have the CPRS. It is fully functional in whole of AIIMS, and those who are interested, they can contact Matilda and Preeti in our team, and they can share, show you the CPRS during the course of this congress. So these are the tools. When now it is retrievable. How do you retrieve the data? Then you can use it for auditing. Suppose you have done a mistake, suppose you want to add something. You can use the addendum. You can use the addendum and add a point which you want to fit it as an addendum, and then you sign out. So every person has got his own secure login and password. So these are some of the things for clinical documentation, which is very good for ED administration. So you can pick up the timelines, the documentation, so you can audit and improve the system by good documentation. The key tool of ED administration. So you can administer the doctor, the nurse, so because they are documenting. And number 3 is, it is important for improving the compliance, right? So compliance is the issue. If they only document, then only you can do audit. If they don't document, then how are you going to audit? So that is a key issue. That's why our next team is there for improving the compliance of filling up into the computers. That is a huge issue. Okay, so what they do is that we do audit, and then we reinforce them again by administrative tools. See, administrative tools are of 2 types. One with a very sweet talk, diplomatic talk, or taking together, managing the egos. Okay? That is called as ego massage. You can do that. Or you can put a whip, dandaraj. So there are two things what we have learned over a period of time, last 6-7 years. These are two ways of administrating the ED, over the years. And the best thing is to have, then only the team game comes. Sit with them, work with them, resident, nurses, and show a good path as a leader, as a faculty. In the emergency department, round the clock, in the shift, take a lead, form a team, and things will fall in place. That is the key of ED administration, and how you can use or being a driving force in implementation of electronic medical record in the emergency department. Believing it, and then only you will be able to make a change. And these are some of the other tools. Before you do this, you can see that vital sign charting. This is critical for nurses to do audit. Again, vital sign charting, which is critical for ICU nurses, okay, because the patients stay over a time. And before you are shifted to from emergency department to ICU, before you send, you can do a TPR-BP charting before sending. So again, you can audit the transfer of the patient from emergency department to ICU, because many a time patient collapse during the transfer. And again, as the administrator, you can find out that, okay, before the transfer, this was the vital sign. For that, one need to put the vital sign in the chart. So I'd encourage, these are the important tools of ED administration. Otherwise, you cannot find out who is filling vital sign at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. How do you do that? You are not there in the shift. So these are some of the tools which have really made a sea change of difference when it comes to administration. Again, the labs. So you can see the major tool of ED administration was a timeline. How much time it takes from getting from entry to getting getting a CT done. Suppose a patient of head injury comes to you, arrival time to CT scan, arrival time to labs, arrival time to PACS. And that critical information it refreshes. Refreshes, I guess, how often it refreshes? 5 minutes or 30 minutes? So for every 5 minutes it refreshes. So you can see that the last 5 events it picks up how much time it has taken. Last 5 encounters of patient coming to the emergency department and lab. Patient coming to emergency department with getting the report, like the CT scan. So it is live and it is shown in our also website. You can see jpnatc.com, where we voluntarily have shown that how much time it is taking. Initially we got a lot of flack from the radiology. They used to say, हम तो यार आते ही हमने 2 मिनट में कर देते हैं. Lab people will say, oh, हम तो 2 मिनट में कर देते हैं, हम आधे घंटे में कर देते हैं. So they used to say, we do it very fast, but how come you are showing it is delayed? So much delay. Because the process itself takes a long time. From the entry to the doctor filling of the form, then somebody will take to the CT scan room, then the getting CT done. So you see the patient's perspective, we are showing the patient's perspective. Right now what we are seeing, it is a doctor's perspective. We do it so fast. No, it doesn't make any meaning for me if I am a patient. So the key tool of ED administration which was really changed the game, it was very transparent, shown in the website. I was very open, so I told Dr. Deepak that let's do it. No problem. So I gave, but the radiologists had a lot of problems. But our director supported, and that's why we were on the website on the real-time audit of the timelines, how much delay we are taking. And if you are transparent, there will be no questions will be asked. The questions are only asked when you don't reveal it. You only try to hide it. Through this electronic tool, we are able to be very transparent, and that has really changed the ED administration. What really helped me, another tool was, just let me show you, is patient display system. So to administer, suppose I am off the shift or I am on vacation as a ED in charge, I can still see my patients in the emergency department by seeing what is called a patient display system, which is just like a flight information. You go to the airport, you have flight information which refreshes every 5 to 10 minutes. Which flight is going where. So similarly, I have got patient details on the patient display system. How many are the red patient? How many are the yellow patient? How many are the green patient? What is the criticality of the patient? It is displayed on this thing. Has the doctor review has been done? Has the lab or X-rays has been or CT has been done? So I can see in one chart which is available to me even at my home. Even it is available on this smartphone. It is on my mobile. So I can see, even sitting in Lakshadweep, I can see how many patients I have in the ER. So I can straight away see, okay, Preeti, show me, this is red area, this red patient, this critical, what is happening to this patient. I can call up and ask Preeti in the emergency department. These are the solutions can be given in a high volume emergency department also. Because emergency medicine, still it is new game. These are the processes we can solve many things, improve the processes and administer ED in a nice way. Another thing which I looked into that, or my colleagues, is having one faculty managing the trauma ER in last 6 years. Is creating a faculty without being present in the emergency department. It is a huge. Or they will see, because every shift the faculty should be there to provide good care in the emergency department. But it is not available. Faculty are not available. We have got less resources. How technology can prove a solution is I bought a small notebook, okay, in the computer notebook, and I used to start taking Skype round. Skype round because all the time I cannot be present in the emergency department. So in the trolley, in a small trolley, we fixed a notebook like this, and used to do Skype round, bed to bed round with the doctor and nurse, while my resident. So it will say, oh, my consultant is there. So there is to, you can give real-time decisions, So the audio was not working. So I told, okay, switch off the audio of the video, the Skype, and on phone, audio and video on the bedside, right? So to take round of the red area, yellow area, okay, then all the respective areas of the emergency department, including talking to my senior nurse, including talking to have a word chat with my junior most resident. Hey, how are you? Are you all right? You're doing well? So that month you show, okay, Dr. Boy is seeing me. And that is what we call as the e-presence, without being present in the emergency department for ED administration. And it doesn't take money. No telemedicine is required in this. You use Skype, which is available, Skype. And recently we have tried with Google+. There are many platforms are available, but Skype was good. So we have been using Skype since last 3 years. There is a trolley in our emergency department. Those who are interested can go and have a look in the trauma ER. And this is good. It is new solution, for where you have lack of faculty, but still you have to provide good care. Thank you very much for your attention. Any questions?
Thank you, sir. Now we'll have a tea break. The tea is arranged in the dining hall. Please join us for the break. We'll continue with the session at 11 a.m.